What's going on, everybody? And we are logging on to episode 171 of the podcast. Thank you for being here tonight, as we have a very special episode for you guys, as always, because we have a very special guest with us, too. I am your host, Frank McKnight, and I am here with my former guitar teacher, Sonny Prewitt. Sonny, thank you for being here, my man. It is so good to see you, too, and I'm glad we could do this.
It's an honor to me, man, to see you again. This is excellent.
100%. Now, I believe the last time we saw each other was one of our last guitar sessions, which I believe I was still, yeah, it had to be. I was still in high school, probably my junior or senior year of high school, maybe. When right before I went off to college, we stopped doing lessons, but that was the last time I saw you. And this is a trip, to be honest with you, man. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing.
It is awesome. Those lessons were at Freehold Music Center over in Freehold, a music store there, and I started teaching in 2007. That was when I'd never taught lessons before that, and I pretty quickly realized that I really enjoy sharing what I know with other people, and with you. Like we just had a little conversation before. One of my things that I consider my task is to create the desire, the curiosity, and the joy of music. And you got it right away. The guitar, it was excellent.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'll tell you what, that was through the help of a lot of my high school friends as well, because they already played guitar when I met them too. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, I want to learn how to play. I loved rock music even before I even thought about wanting to try guitar. And once I met this group of friends who I'm still friends with now, and about two, no, like three or four of them played. It's like, I want to do this too. And yes, the Freehold Music Center, which is still there too, over there in
I,
Freehold.
I think they closed maybe a year ago, and
No way. Did they
they
really?
they finally closed. The pandemic just wiped them out,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the landlord there, I think he found somebody that would give him more money for the space, and it's all about economics. Is what it
Yes, it is. And that
is.
that that is how it goes, unfortunately. I did not know that. And that is unfortunate because that's like a staple of my childhood too. I love that place. Especially let's call it the old version of it when it was the bigger store. I mean, it was
Mhm.
guitar, piano galore in there. It was fantastic. And not just those instruments either. You had the drums, electric drums, you had everything there. I'd be
Right.
waiting for one of our lessons because you had a student before me, and I'd just be looking around that store. I was never bored in there.
Mhm.
So it was a great place for sure. My question for you is that so you told me that before that I was one of your first students, or the first student that you had as far as teaching guitar, correct?
You were one of my first students, and you were the first guitar student that I had that progressed from this is the tuning gears, this is showing you the layout of the guitar to playing songs. You got it. I mean,
Oh, I am so proud of myself, my man. That's awesome
I'm
to
proud of
hear.
you too. And I really missed when you left. I mean, I've had some excellent students,
Yeah.
and I've had some wonderful experiences. Like I said before, I really enjoy it. One of the things that I started doing in there at Freehold Music. I don't know if you remember Jill, the lady that was the scheduling there at the desk.
Yes, of course. Yes.
She started giving me the guitar students that the other teachers didn't want
Oh,
because they
wow.
had ADHD maybe, or they were on the autistic spectrum. I have a little experience with that from a family member, and it was it was that was something that I never realized that I would enjoy so much too. And I still have three autistic students that I do on Zoom lessons now.
Oh,
And
wow. That's
yeah,
amazing. Now,
I go ahead.
explain to me that dynamic of it, or even your learning curve to that as well, or learning experiences with that. Is there anything? Is there anything different you're really doing, or is it their passion for music that it's no problem at all to teach them an instrument?
Everyone is different, and there's levels, there's percentages of how affected they are by the autism. And I have had a savant, one of these like quote unquote geniuses that everybody kind of associates with, wrongly too, by the way, with
Yes.
autism. But this kid, I'd met him years before at an event, a sporting event,
Hmm.
and he's 17 years old. He's taller than me, and he comes in and he is profoundly autistic. His mother was Russian, right?
Hmm.
And she says he wants to play piano Broadway show songs. I said, well, I don't feel comfortable teaching piano lessons. I'm a guitar player. I said, I play piano by ear, and I'm okay by ear. But I said, I don't really, she goes, I said, but I can do maybe a YouTube, we can bring the Broadway show song on and we can play it like that. She goes, oh, that would be fine. So he was there one day, and I had another autistic student just before him, and we were doing the song. All we did was melodies on the piano. By the way, he didn't want to play chords, and and what he wants is what I want too. Right?
Yes,
You
yes.
have to you have to figure out what the lesson is that they want. Sometimes it's just a musical experience. Sometimes it's actually a lesson. This kid with the piano was doing the melodies. He's got a great ear. I mean, and he's got some gifts too. Almost all autistic people have a spike, like a something that they're really pretty strong in.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
once you find that, you kind of kind of celebrate it. You know what I mean? That's been my style anyway with all these students. At any rate, the going back to the kid with the savant kid,
Hmm.
he hears me doing a lesson with a Beatles song. We Can Work It Out from the Beatles. And he runs in, he goes, I want to do that song too. I want to do that song too. I said, okay, we can do that song. So we start playing the song, and he's singing the song, and he gets to the second verse, and he switches to German. And I look over at his mom. His mother goes, oh, he speaks 6 languages. I was like, what?
Wow.
You know, and she goes, oh, and he's got perfect pitch too, which it's actually called it absolute pitch now, but he can always hear the correct key for everything. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, he's profoundly autistic. He's going to have to live with her or some kind of a group home or something at some point.
Sure.
But I just seeing that was amazing. I had a lady that had a brain injury. Her husband asked me because he found out I was doing special needs stuff there, and he says, "Can you teach her how to play? She wants to play folk guitar." And I said, "Sure." So we're doing like 2 or 3 lessons, and one day he and I were talking about something, and she starts playing a Russian folk song and sang the whole thing. And I looked at him and said, "She plays guitar already.
Yeah.
She knows how to play guitar." She had had a brain injury, and this was like bringing things back to. I mean, this is one of the things that just lights me up, though. This is a great
Without a
experience.
doubt. I feel like it's definitely firing up the passion for you.
Yeah.
100%.
It's been music has been my passion, and I have been in some really successful like club bands. And we talked before. I was in a band called Southern Cross, and we were the top shelf, played all the best bars, and when the circuit was really really good too. And this is years before people were holding their phones up in the crowd, and
Right,
you know,
right.
it was years before all that stuff. So on a Thursday night in Port Chester, New York, at this club we used to play at every week of Thursdays for like a year or so,
Hmm.
we would have 1,700 people in this place.
Oh my God.
Okay, now we were booked to an agency that had the top shelf bands. We had Twisted Sister, the Good Rats, a band called Rat Race Choir, which is really pretty famous up there, and Zebra, which was a national act, which has 3 platinum albums, I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
Uh, Twisted Sister's got 2 double platinums. So I'm still friends with the guys in that band. And
Very cool.
yeah,
Yes.
But well, here we are, Thursday night, 1,700 people in this place. I mean, like we felt like we were rock stars. I mean,
Yeah.
it was pretty amazing. And when the drinking age, what really made it all come to an end on that level, there was about, I'd say probably 50 or 60 clubs that could afford to hire us that we used to rotate around. And we played mostly Long Island. Westchester was our biggest market. Um, New Jersey, all over New Jersey, and occasionally in Connecticut. We played in Hartford and New Haven, and we would we would travel back and forth. We would weekends we'd sometimes stay over in hotels or motels or whatever, but most of the time we would travel back and forth each night. And we lived in Ocean County over in Point Pleasant and Brick, and that was we had a van. We had it fixed up like our little bus or whatever. We had it customized, and it was nice. We took turns driving. We had actually three vans in the time I was in the band, the 9 years I was in the band,
Mm.
500,000 miles without an accident. So that's pretty
Wow.
amazing. That's pretty amazing.
That is amazing. God bless for that
So
too. I
yeah,
mean,
right.
that's incredible. That's incredible.
So
But it's
we
also
oh
incredible that you were performing and were a big name as well,
mhm.
traveling to all these places. That's incredible.
And our niche was we played Southern rock. We didn't do all. They call these bands tribute bands now, but
Hmm.
we did like 38 Special, the Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker, Leonard Skinner, ZZ Top,
Yeah.
all the quote unquote Southern bands, and a little bit of Eagles every now and then, but mostly it was just all Southern bands. And we got to the point when we got really, really popular that when these bands had peaked, they were starting to play clubs again. We would open shows for them, and I opened shows for it was called before they got Leonard Skinner got back together after the plane crash. They had a band called Roslington Collins Band, which was a great band, by the way, really amazing. And the Outlaws, we played with them. We played with all the Southern rock groups, and Marshall Tucker, and
That's that. And now explain to me that that's all amazing, by the way. This is stuff I didn't know. This is stuff I didn't know. And I wish as because I was young when we were taking lessons, like to learn the stories back then, I would have been amazed, and I'm still amazed now. But could you explain your experiences as far as especially the traveling aspect of it? Like like even how often were you performing? What like was it only weekends? Like what was the travel like for it?
okay. The travel was like we would play usually 5 nights a week. Occasionally there would be in the busy parts of the summer, and when we got really popular, it was like um, our booking agent once we had a meeting with him, and he says, I don't want to have to sell you guys. I want to become an order taker, and he became an order taker, and
Ah,
that's how busy we got. 5 nights a week, we had a rule that we would take one day off and rehearse whatever days. If we only had 3 days of the week or whatever, 4 days, but usually it would be a 5 day week, 4 or 5 days. And a lot of times it would be like every Wednesday in a place in Long Island, every Thursday in Westchester,
yes.
and every Tuesday we used to play this place up in Morris County called the Final Exam, and
Okay.
um, we would we'd have like 3 nights a week would be regulars, and weekends would all be different places usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but we would we would travel, and occasionally we would play the Hamptons in Long Island, the best places out there, and we would stay for like 3 days out there. Some all the holidays would be there, 3 days in the Hamptons, pretty much always. I mean, I played L'Amour's in Brooklyn, and when we played L'Amour's, it was primarily a heavy metal room, right?
Hmm.
So we didn't do the countryish type stuff there because I realized that I used
The
to write
type
our
of
songs.
crowd you have.
Yeah, yeah, we had some really rocking Southern rock songs too, and they liked us. I mean, and we did well there. But we played really really good rooms. We played the Agora Ballrooms, which was a national chain at the time. New
Mm.
Haven had a great place up there. We opened for Roy Buchanan, a famous guitar player.
Yes.
And I told your father about you had great parents, by the way. They really I could tell that they were very encouraging you, and
Oh, they very much were, and I appreciate you saying that. They 100% were. Me, I wanted to play guitar. My brother Jesse wanted to play the drums. They were like, "Yes, let's do it." And we both went to Freehold Music Center,
I
and we
think
got
your sister
there.
continued on with lessons after you were in college too. I used to see your mom there, I
Yes,
believe.
my sister also played piano.
Right.
Yes, yeah, she took lessons there as well. Yeah, I like miss those times. Like, they always say like when you're in the good times, you don't know when you're in the good times until it's over or whatnot. And like in that sense, like relearning how to play guitar.
I think the blues song is "You don't wish your water till the well runs dry."
Yes, right,
That's
right.
pretty
Yes,
much
exactly.
that's the story, right?
Yeah. But I am extremely grateful for that fact because now there's three out of the four siblings are, we could play an instrument, which is awesome. I
Hmm.
find that amazing. I don't know, you might have seen a video on Facebook of this, but like every Christmas Eve's huge for my family. Me, my cousin, and sister would do a musical performance every night. I,
Awesome.
I would be on the guitar. Sometimes Gia will play piano for whatever song we choose, but otherwise, her and my cousin Dom would be singing as I'm playing guitar. I'm always on the guitar. I love it. I love it. So we've done this past year was the first year we didn't do it, and it felt so different Christmas Eve. And it's like we got to do this again because it just didn't feel right. And it became a staple, and it's a part of Gia's piano instructor and you and whatnot that have made this come together with, or well, not even just the guitar skills, but even creativity, the
Right.
creativity aspect as well. Learning notes, learning how the guitar itself, how it works. You're able to create your own little things, and it's awesome. I remember over COVID, I had nothing to do. So I basically started playing around with the guitar and I made a little song, a little piece, and I like all different things, all different rhythms on the same guitar, and I put it all together in a video. I posted on Facebook. I'll always remember you shared the video too on Facebook. You're
Hmm.
like, this is one of my former students, this is incredible and everything. I That was a proud moment for me.
I was wondering how you were doing. This is great. Music. It's been said that music stimulates the brain and causes when young children to do better in academically in their regular school. And I really think it's because music is problem solving. It really is. I mean, when you're trying to learn how to play something, you're working out all the rough edges and but by the repetition and everything, you're getting it, you're refining it, and it's rewarding too because you kind of like the fact that you've gotten through this rough thing and it teaches you how to deal with problems and all. I really think it's great. At one point, I realized that the more than half of my students were the children of immigrants too, by the way, and
Mm,
and I think some of them had two or three kids taking lessons, which that's pretty expensive, right? To be doing
yeah.
that. Your family had two. That's right.
Yeah.
So, but that was but the more the Indian families and Asian families and all, it seemed like there was more of them doing that kind of a thing, and
Mhm.
I think they see the value, the really true value of learning music lesson, a musical instrument, and 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 having that. And I started out when I grew up in East Tennessee, in a little town, Oak Ridge, Tennessee, which is known for the atomic bomb. That's where they did the
Oh,
Manhattan
that's where they
Project.
did the testing?
Yeah, the Manhattan Projects was
Yes,
there.
the Manhattan prostate.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was a paper boy. My mother convinced some guy when I was 8 years old that I was responsible enough to do the morning paper. You had to get up at 4 in the morning to deliver papers. And I
Ah,
made enough money that I bought myself a little, I started on snare drum. I bought a drum and I got into the school orchestra and things just started, taking off from there. And at one point, we moved to Chattanooga, which is a larger town, much larger town when I was 14. And it was had a kind of a thriving musical scene there. James Brown's main drummer, Clyde Stubblefield, was from Chattanooga. The Impressions were from Chattanooga. Bessie Smith, the famous blues singer, was from Chattanooga. There's a lot of musical history there.
yeah.
But it was, it's a totally different scene these days. Most children don't. They're into video games and things. It's really hard for them to really stick with a musical instrument and get it
I
happening.
I agree, and this was another one of the questions that I had for you too. So to delve more into that, I think not even just because I mean video games is a big part of it too, but you even have these social media apps like TikTok and whatnot. It's all about short attention span, um,
Truly,
yeah, like activeness of the brain. Like everything has to be quick, and then you're on to the next thing.
instant
And
gratification, they say, right?
instant gratification, absolutely. And it made me wonder as I was making up questions for you, and I really wanted to know your perspective and thought on this. Have you seen a decrease at all in like the interest in wanting to learn a musical instrument, especially now because you have other types of music now, like the EDM scene and electronic music and everything like that, which at one point, it was bigger than it is now, but still, it's taken over in a sense. What's your thought on, or what's your perspective as far as do you believe that the like guitar, piano, violin, even drums, has it decreased in popularity?
It definitely has decreased, and from the conversations I had with the store owner of Freehold Music,
Hmm.
it was declining every year.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned before you had a bunch of buddies that had guitars, and I always ask my students, "Do you have any friends that play?" Because I was trying to get them to hook up and and because that's a whole nother skill, playing with someone else, listening.
That's a whole nother problem solving thing to see
Yeah,
what works out
it
the best
truly
for
is.
each other.
So anyway, it's definitely declining. Now,
Yeah.
when I was a teenager in my neighborhood, there was maybe four teenage bands. There was a club in our town that had a teen club that
Hmm.
had bands playing every weekends only,
Wow.
and they had several national acts would come through. I got to watch. This was a real treat. The guy that ran the place used to have Charlie McCoy and the Escorts come a couple, 3 times a year. They were famous studio musicians in Nashville. They played on Dylan's Blonde on Blonde. They were the Kenny Buttrey, the drummer that played Lay Lady Lay, that crazy drum beat in
Okay.
they
Yes.
uh, they so they would come play. And there was a Rolling Stone article about, with Dylan talking about Charlie McCoy, the guy, Charlie McCoy and the Escorts. Charlie McCoy was the bass player, and he was the damnedest thing to watch. He would be the band first of all would be drums, bass, guitar, trombone, and saxophone. Okay, that's what you're
Nice.
looking at on the stage.
Yeah.
Now, Charlie McCoy would be singing. They played all these cover songs, all mostly Motown kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
They're playing a Supreme song or something, right? And Charlie McCoy's singing like this, and then he reaches around turns his bass up and plays with one hand, just fretting it,
Yeah.
picks up a trumpet and plays trumpet at the same time.
Get out.
So now they got a three-piece horn section. It sounds like killer, right? And these guys are professionals. I mean, like they're recording all the time, right? So when Dylan supposedly recorded Rainy Day Woman 12 and 35, they stone you when you're trying to be so good. He described it. He goes, I want this to sound like a Salvation Army band. We need a trumpet player to come in. And Charlie McCoy goes, I can play trumpet. He goes, oh, you're playing bass. And Dylan insisted on everything being live in those days. He
Mm.
goes, I can do it. And when Dylan saw him do that, his mind was totally, I have been in those shoes before, watching him do that. And that's what it was. He would do it with harmonica too. He would,
Wow.
and he had a keyboard. He played like a little organ, and he played, and you just you can't even think about how good these guys were too. Kenny Buttrey played drums on Neil Young's Harvest album. He
Mm.
was my favorite drummer, certainly in those days. I was a drummer in those days too, so that's what I was watching, and I was trying to figure out what it was about him that was so enthralling. It was his amazing timing and just never rushed or dragged, and just always solid, and it kept everything really,
Able, like in a
yeah.
sense.
So anyway, I saw some amazing stuff there, and I got and in my neighborhood all these bands. I would jump on my bicycle and ride around the corner and listen to these really older guys that were really good rehearse. I learned how to rehearse watching them. I mean,
Yeah.
that was my main source of entertainment. Though we didn't have the internet and the cable TV and and the video games and all this other stuff. It was probably pretty much everything,
Yes.
and it's really hard to be a drummer in a family too, by the way, because it just sounds like you're driving them crazy with
Because
playing
it's loud. Yes, yes, sir. Absolutely.
very loud.
Absolutely. What do you think something that could raise the interest back into to instruments, traditional instruments like guitar and whatnot? I feel like guitar was definitely the most popular out of guitar and drums. I want to say were probably the most popular, at least around my high school days to try out and play. Do you think there's any sort of suggestion of how to like increase that popularity back? Do you think it's like getting the scene, the rock scene more up there again?
That's a good question. I don't. What happened when I was coming up was Beatlemania. The Beatles playing on Ed Sullivan is
Oh,
credited with starting a gazillion bands. It's
mm,
it's credited with selling more musical instruments, guitars. I mean, like all the Gibson, Fender, and Gretsch, all of them just had a boom after that show on Ed Sullivan.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I
So
had
maybe it'll take some sort of like event or who knows. I do think that there's definitely going to be a time of resurgence as far as this type of music. Rock, blues, anything that requires a legit instrument to play with, to strum, to press keys. Um, I love it to death, and that's why I would love to see a resurgence of it.
mhm.
Not that I feel like I'm downplaying to the fact where it's not even like rock's not popular anymore because it definitely is. But I would say that it needs to get back up there again, man.
It
It
needs to get
does.
back. I totally agree. There's a lot of I think most young people that want to play a musical instrument, they've seen an uncle, a mother, a father, or whatever. They've seen one of their friends, like you did,
Yes.
playing, and maybe you could almost see the joy. I mean, when I'm not feeling well, I reach over here and grab one of these guitars. This is what I do.
Yes.
Um, I was in the hospital a few years ago. I had high blood pressure. Really, it was a potassium problem that I had,
Mm.
and my blood pressure was really high for 4 or 5 days. And Melanie brought my guitar to the hospital for me to play. And I was like too tired the first 2 days, but then the last day she brought it, we went to the family lounge, and all of my friends were teasing me that I should eat more bananas because of potassium. And so I played the Day-O, Day.
Yes.
I did a little video with that, and I played Uncle John's band from Grateful Dead, and
Yes.
she videoed that too. And I go back into my hospital room, and the nurse comes in, takes my blood pressure, and it's perfect. It had been sky high. Now I
Yes.
know that there is a beneficial side of this that's more than just in my head.
Absolutely. I think it's a type of therapy. Music alone is a type of therapy, either playing it or listening to it. I believe anyway. It brings emotions
Yeah,
out to you. And music's the most, and I'm a movie guy. I think music is the most powerful thing when it comes to bringing out emotions, how it makes you feel and everything like that.
right.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
So these days, my career, but I have this home studio that I've mixed a few things and recorded. I've probably recorded 50 songs here in this room.
It's an
And
amazing room. I love
yeah,
the look of it. Yeah.
Melanie and I, we've done th two CDs, and we've tried to get we've been attempting to um, become sync license songwriters of like soundtracks for movies and things.
Oh, very
And
cool.
we've signed several contracts, but none of them have been picked up by the big people yet. But we kind of changed our stopped playing the bars. Nobody was really listening much in the bars right now for acoustic music, and
Hmm.
so we started playing. We had a lady that was sponsoring us to play for cancer treatment centers, and we also started playing assisted living places. And both of us agreed that we really enjoyed the fact that they were the mornings, and these people were very appreciative of us. And
Yes.
so I have been playing. You talk about therapy. I've been playing for Alzheimer's patients for the past 4 or 5 years now. I have a great song list. It's the most amazing thing. Now, this is the power of music. We keep talking about this transcending, just sounding good and nice, interesting lyrics or whatever.
Yeah.
But I go into this room and these people come in and it's what they call the memory unit, right?
Yeah.
And they come in looking like the cast in One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. And they're just almost catatonic.
Yeah.
And I start playing, and they're patting their feet sometimes, and sometimes they're singing along with me a little bit. But when about halfway through my set, I start singing "God Bless America" and "You Are My Sunshine," and almost always they all either sing or mouth the lyrics with me, and they almost come to
Wow.
life. I mean, and it's I get paid to do this too. I mean, but at the same time, I feel like so warm inside from watching this,
Absolutely.
from
Yeah.
seeing all this happen. And I never imagined that I would be experiencing this today. Today I did one this afternoon, and the big hits today were "Somewhere Over the Rainbow."
Oh, very good. Yes.
I have this is the best song list I've ever had. It's all big hits, and that they just love these songs. I mean, Louis
That's
Armstrong,
amazing.
Louis
Okay,
Armstrong
I'm
songs,
sorry, say it again.
Louis Armstrong songs. I do some of
Oh,
those,
yes, there you go. Okay,
and
yeah.
so I try to do ones that everybody's heard, and are really like I call it classic songs.
Yes, 100%. I feel like in that sort of scenario and scene and the crowd that you have, I feel like those are the songs that you would be playing for in that sense, and because it's all about the recognition. I feel like if people know something, they're gonna relate to it somehow because they've heard it before and how it made them feel before.
Right.
And I believe you have a great playlist in that sense, in that
Danny
sense of
Boy, I
the
do
word.
Danny Boy, and sometimes they cry, and I say, "Oh, I'm sorry, they go, "Oh, that song is beautiful, and it reminds me of my father." I'm like, "Okay, that." I said, "Well,
Yeah.
that's a wonderful feeling. Your memory is, that's a good thing to do." And anyway, that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing these days, and it's I never thought. I sometimes pinch myself and say, if my friends could see me right now having this much fun with these people that are just, like they wheel them in, like I said before, it's just crazy, right? Mhm.
I I truly believe, I think your whole life, and what you've been telling me, you've basically been living your dream. You have been performing. You have been you have been performing with bands, gotten big with certain bands, traveling, and now you're still playing nowadays and getting so much enjoyment and great feedback, like you were just saying too. And you're giving the like elderly homes too, and I'm sure and whatnot as well,
Mhm.
and everything like that, like so much enjoyment, and there is a reward to that. Like I brought up before, the Christmas Eve performances. Even if the song wasn't performed great, the family still loves it. They get so much
Oh,
joy of it, and it's one of the best rewards to ever get, I feel like.
it is. It is. I totally agree. And you're, like I said before, I could tell your parents were totally behind you. That's
Yes. Yes. A
this
hundred
is
percent.
this
A
was
hundred
cool.
percent.
I was on stage. I just watched. I watch a lot of videos here since the pandemic. These YouTube videos and things, and I saw one about Stevie Wonder.
Mm.
My band in Chattanooga opened show for Stevie Wonder, and
Really?
yeah. So we were playing there, and he was sitting at the piano with his musical director. They were both wearing tuxedos. Had a great Motown band, bass guitar and drums, and then they had union horn players come in. By the way, I was in a union when I was 15 years old in Chattanooga, Musicians Union. And,
Mm.
and our horn players all played with Stevie Wonder on that gig because the guy liked our horn players. So
Wow.
I gathered up the nerve to go meet Stevie Wonder, and he stood up, and they just stopped calling him Little Stevie Wonder, and he was taller than me. And he says, "I hear a clavinet. We just bought this clavinet, the keyboard that's the instrument on the primary instrument on Superstition."
Mm.
And he heard the clavinet, and they said, "Yeah, we just got it." And they just come out. Actually, that's when they just broke out. And so we were talking about that some. And anyway, he was warm and nice, and it was the slickest show. I just he's my favorite harmonica player too, by the way. He
Mm.
plays the melody with that chromatic harmonica. He's just amazing. It's like Toots Thielman or something. He's really really good. Anyway, I played some great gigs. My band was signed to signed to a production contract with Muscle Shoals Sound. We went to audition for this contract, and we got there the weekend after the Rolling Stones had been there recording Brown Sugar, Got to Move, and Wild Horses. And,
Okay.
and they signed us, and we did like I think it was like 13 or 14 months we did there with them. And Leonard Skinner had the same kind of a contract, a production contract. And
Wow.
we both were shopped, and nobody bought our songs, so we were both dropped at the same time. They moved to Atlanta. Our band moved to Atlanta too. So that's where I lived for a couple years too.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up that up too. Atlanta's pretty big as far as the music scene, as far as labels and everything, correct?
Yeah, there's a lot of hip hop and rap and stuff from Atlanta after
Yeah.
I moved out of there. When I was there, there was some really great bands playing there, and Al Cooper came in. That's where he signed Leonard Skinner.
Okay,
Al
gotcha.
Cooper was in a famous band called Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and he got his own label. He left Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and he moved to Atlanta, hoping to start his own label. And he signed two bands there. One of them was Mose Jones, which was a great band too, by the way, and then Leonard Skinner. And my band opened a show at Lake Spivey. It was formerly I think an amusement park or something, but they
Mm.
were just getting ready to build McMansions on it.
Yeah, yeah,
And they had
yeah.
a concert there, and they had us open. It was 4 or 5 bands. Another band before us, Protrudimus, Atlanta's answer to Mahavishnu Orchestra, jazz, kind of a jazzy thing. My
Yeah.
band was called Micropolis then, one in Atlanta. 9-piece horn band. We played over
Wow.
half originals, and after us was Leonard Skinner. They came in with a bus. We said, "What's the bus?" And they go, "They're going on tour with the Who." It's like, whoa. We
Wow,
were totally
yeah.
blown away, right? And after that was Freddie King, one of the three Kings. B.B. King, Albert King, and Freddie King. Freddie King, and then a band called Wet Willie, which was the number 2 band at Capricorn at the time, behind the Allman Brothers.
Okay, gotcha.
And that was the show. We did this show, and it was probably like, I'd say 6 or 7,000 people there at the show. But that was a great concert, and Skinner just tore the roof off of the place. Or there's no roof on, but they just blew everybody away. Anyway, that was
I feel like that had to have been one of your favorite experiences as far as performance wise. No, or do you have another one in mind too?
I had so many. The playing with Stevie Wonder was great. Playing some of the shows with Rosington Collins. We played a place in Aberdeen. It's now a like a catering place that has weddings and stuff.
Okay.
Something lakes or rivers or something. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was called the Fountain Casino at the time,
Hmm.
and we had my band Southern Cross, the Henry Paul band. Henry Paul, we had been formerly with the Outlaws. He had two very successful albums, and then Rosington Collins, the survivors of Leonard Skinner. That was incredible. Oh man, it was the best sound system too. It was amazing.
Wow.
So
Wow. I wanted to talk a little bit about how you first met Melanie and when you both decided to join forces in musical greatness. Um, how did you two first meet? And then what did it seem like fate that you guys, oh, we're both musically talented. Like, let's start doing this, you know?
it was fate. After Southern Cross broke up, my brother and I had a band called the Mangoes. We played bars all over this Ocean County mostly, and occasionally in New York and a few other places. But I'd been doing that for a long, long time. And my girlfriend, her daughter Melanie, came. She was going to Montclair State at the time. She has a degree in art. She's an artist too.
Oh,
And
that's awesome. Great.
so she came to spend the weekend with us. And Marie says to me, you should listen to Melanie's original song. She's got some really good originals. And I said, oh yeah. So I had just gotten this MacBook Pro
Yeah.
uh, Apple computer, and I had the Garage Band on it. I said, well, why don't we try to do a little demo here, in this song. She wrote this song called, it was on her first CD. It's called Elliot. It's like the T.S. Eliot poem, Sirens in the
Oh,
Sea.
yeah, yes. Yes, I know. Yeah.
And that's what I said, well, this sounds like a school assignment or something. That was my exact words I said to her. So she plays this thing, and I record her, and then I get a drum beat with her playing this thing. I put a bass track on it and a keyboard track on it, and we sat there and listened to it, and all of us were just mesmerized. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hypnotic. It's a really beautiful piece. It's one of my favorites of hers.
Hmm.
And I said, this is what I really like doing, playing original, doing original, and and the fact that it was mostly acoustic too, which was really, really good. I I I, I really like playing acoustic music these days too.
I am the same exact way. I did end up getting an electric guitar a little bit later on. Played it. I I like it, especially when we learned Holiday. Sorry to go off on a little tangent. I'll be quick, but like I learned Holiday. I played it on with you. I played it on the electric. Sounded great, but I will always prefer acoustic. Always.
It's it's a lot of good electric guitar players. They I have several friends that I played in bands with, and we do occasionally house concerts and things together. And almost always, I want to play acoustic the whole time and have them play electric or whatever if they want to. But
Yeah.
they sometimes don't feel comfortable with the acoustic. I don't feel comfortable with the electric anymore because to me it doesn't. It has a different kind of sustain.
Yeah,
Difficult.
without a doubt. I think there's also the
And
ambiance factor of an acoustic guitar too. Like the
yeah,
way it flows, the way it projects sound. It's just a beautiful thing, to be
yeah.
honest with you. Yeah.
So Melanie and I, and it was in 2010, we decided to give it a try. And there were people that thought I was crazy. I was in a working band, here I am starting over with acoustic now. And by 93, by 2013, uh, we were playing. We played 39 dates in the month of August. I was
Wow.
teaching. I was teaching too. So we were doing
Wow.
like two or three doubles every week, and the people at Jenkinson's heard us at a place, and they liked the fact that the old guy was singing the high parts. That's what they said.
Oh, there you go.
So, so we played the main Jenkinsons, and we also played like had a weekly gig at the Inlet Bar, which is at the northern end by the inlet, the end of the boardwalk, the northern end of the boardwalk, and it's beautiful there. I mean, it's really I think it's so much easier to get in and out of too. And but
Yeah.
like I said, 39 dates. I mean, like that was completely nuts. We also decided we don't have to work like that.
Right, right.
We like to take it a little bit easier. And Melanie plays. She 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 has a beautiful voice, but she plays the most solid rhythm. I mean, one of the things that's really important. I don't know if I stressed it to you, but what you don't play is much more important than what you do play. And music needs to have space and has to have pauses like a rest.
Right.
I used to have a speech to my students. The rest is the most beautiful musical choice you can possibly make.
You
It's
know
perfect.
what? Now that you're mentioning that, you have brought that up to me plenty of times.
Okay,
Yes.
so Melanie's got this big old Gibson J200 her husband bought her, and I play a 12 string most of the time,
Yeah.
and it sounds just amazing. I mean,
Wow.
I play bass lines and fills. Sometimes it sounds like a mandolin when you play the fills up high, and that's our style that we have. And another thing, our style, we didn't try to copy everything note for note. We never did that. We came up with our own arrangements. People liked our arrangements. We did a lot of children's music for the boardwalk when we were there. We did like Disney songs and
Oh,
uh,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what we did. But I really enjoy the acoustic side of things, and I've always been a Joni Mitchell fan and Jackson Brown. I mean, even though I was a Southern rock, considered a Southern rocker to most of my, the fans that I have along the way here, uh, the acoustic definitely is ringing my bell these days. So,
Without a doubt. So you just showed off a guitar.
hmm
Sonny, I want to show you this one. I put it right next to me because, oh, hold on. Same exact one, buddy.
All right,
That we did lessons on too. The Alvarez.
Alvarez, right?
The
That's a good
Alvarez
guitar.
guitar. I love still playing this guitar from time to time too. It's still sounds great, man. It still sounds great.
Yeah, yeah. It's just great talking to you. This is really nice to catch up and
Yeah, without a doubt. Let me ask you this. As what do you think the hardest song that I wanted to learn was? If it like as far as you could remember, because I don't even remember like
I
some
know
of
which
the
one.
songs that we try to learn, maybe because we couldn't get too far with it. I wasn't that experienced enough. I have
Everlong,
one in mind though.
Everlong.
Oh yeah. Wow, yeah. You see, that's one I forgot.
Yeah, I've learned how to play that one, and most of these days I have majority adult students that are
Yeah.
they're getting back into playing. I also coach people. I was hired at Freehold Music to be a vocal coach, by the way,
Oh,
and
really?
I
Okay.
reluctantly started teaching guitar lessons because I played by ear and I taught myself to play, and I didn't feel confident teaching. And the store manager, Dave Hershey, says, "Come on, man, you've been playing for 40 years. Teach a guitar lesson." I was like, "All right." I said, "Just give me beginners." I bought the Mel Bay book and taught myself how to read the charts because when I was a drummer, drummers only read the rhythms. They don't read the notes, the musical notes.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
So anyway, so I taught myself to read that and so I started. These days, I have mostly adults. A lot of them are getting into open mics and things, and I
Oh, very
coach them on
cool.
how to how to to sound better at open mics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one of the things I do. When I was at Freehold, one of the things that I really enjoyed there was preparing students for auditions. I had one little young girl, and she auditioned for the part of Legally Blonde Junior or something. Uh,
Hmm.
she nailed it. They had a real director come in and do that and said she was Broadway material. And I just prepared her for that audition. And from that audition, I was at the desk with Jill one day and I played her this video that the mother had sent me of her performance.
Yeah.
And this lady sitting across from Jill says, I was there at that show. She was fantastic.
That's incredible.
And her
That's
son goes,
incredible.
I want him to teach me guitar. Her
Yeah.
son, a young son. He goes, follow me. And I go, follow you. And we walk across the store. He reaches up and grabs a guitar. And I looked at him and went, that's a left-handed guitar. And he goes, I know, I'm left-handed. I went like, I'm going to shut up and not say another word to this kid. He was so good. I mean, he's still a friend of mine too. And I I feel like to feel like I helped him get into the Freehold Regional the FPAC they call it the Performing Arts School.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
And the principal called me and he asked me about him, and I said, "This is the person you want in your program. He's going to inspire other people. He is a live wire. He is just full of energy, full of curiosity. Curiosity is the thing I think really drives everybody, and
Yeah.
and
I think it's more
it's
the
amazing.
fact of could I do this? Like I see people playing it and there's some songs you really like, you listen to it enough, it's like, could I play this? And I think that's where it leads off to. I
Mhm.
swear. I think that's one of the main driving factors anyway.
Yeah,
I was gonna bring up a song that you taught me, that was very hard at first, but once I started getting the hang of it, it became really easy, and it was "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles that we learned. I think that might have been, and I think I remember this the most because I think this is the song we really put a lot of focus on, and we spent probably the most time than any other song, really.
it's a very difficult song to play,
It
and
is.
it's got a crazy time signature in the middle of I think it's 11 or 13/8. Da
Hmm.
da 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 da
Yeah.
da 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 da. Anyway, I have watched people dance to that song. I'm going, how in the world are you dancing to this song?
Oh yeah, I know.
You know,
Otherwise, like
people dance to everything, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's crazy. But that's the most popular Beatles song on Spotify.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not too surprised. It's
yeah.
such an
I'm not either.
amazing song. I would say either that or "Hey Jude" or is probably up there too as one of the top Beatles songs there on Spotify. I mean, though I don't know, and I might never know. Maybe people won't know unless they were there at whatever concert. At like they go na 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 na. They kept on going with it.
Yeah,
Kept on going.
yeah,
I wonder when that ended, but yeah, I Sonny, I'll tell you what, I had a incredible time talking with you tonight. And I want to keep in touch with you as well. I would love to I would love to see you and Melanie perform too. You gotta
yeah.
let me know.
I will, and I will send you a link for the Kill Shed.
Yes,
Awesome
absolutely.
venue in
If
Manchester. That's where it is, and they have shows already scheduled there. I'm going to have a show with Southern Cross. We had a reunion of Southern Cross Band, a 50th reunion on the 2022
yeah.
9/11 is when it actually was, and we had 600 people in the Osprey Hotel, and
Wow.
it was great. And it was a love fest. It was right after the pandemic, and everybody was just
Oh, they were just ready to be out there
it,
in the
it was
public,
ready. It
right?
was really ready. And anyway, we're going to have a reunion of the three guitar players, and we're going to have a really good drummer with us at the Kill Shed. And we did one last summer, and We had over 100 people for that one, and this is a yard, it's somebody's house, and it's it's,
Yes,
it's pretty amazing.
which is just amazing.
Yeah,
It's just amazing.
yeah, it's
I
great.
where could the audience find the Kill Show? Do they have a website or anything like that?
Yeah, I think they have what is it?
Or social media maybe
Yeah,
like a
they
account?
do.
I
Um,
will I what I'll do is I will throw all the information as far as that venue and everything and all performances in the description below too so
okay,
people could check it out as
I'll
well.
send you the links. What's the not Facebook,
Is it Instagram?
Instagram.
Yes.
They have Instagram sites, Killshed, and they've had Brandy Carlisle's cousin or something. That they have a band that's really really good. They've already went to see them, and they have this guy Fred Marciarino, I think his name is. He was in Taking Back Sunday, I believe. He
Mm.
was the guy that wrote the songs, the hits that they had.
Oh, okay.
And he's been there. He had actually asked me to play a song with him last year, which I was totally honored. I mean, I had
Yeah.
to learn the song too. It was crazy. And he wanted the old guy to come in and play with him. It was great. And
Like
he's
I
acoustic.
said, you are the classy
Yeah,
professional. Everyone wants to play with you, man. I would love to play with you again one day. I think it would
all
be
right.
I need a don't get me wrong, I need a refreshing the skills on the guitar, but I would love to rip a couple
Yeah.
notes with you there.
But
Uh
you know what's really popular these days? The Bob Dylan movie made Dylan. I've been doing Dylan songs like crazy with a lot of people.
Yes, that and
It's
you
a
know what?
great
Is that
movie.
a strategy of yours also now that you're bringing that up? Because I mean, there's a lot of biopic movies coming out about a lot of these artists. You
Hmm.
had obviously you had the movie Bohemian Rhapsody come out, then you had Rocket Man come out about Elton John, and now you have Bob Dylan with Timothy Chalamet and whatnot. I feel like it's almost like trendy stuff that goes on as far
Hmm.
as music that you play and everything like that.
Yeah, there's a Led Zeppelin movie coming out too, and that's really Zeppelin. No, that's a real, um,
Oh,
real,
like a documentary.
yeah, a documentary, right? But
Yeah.
there, you know,
Sonny, did you
great music.
hear? And they just announced this, right? I feel like you would be excited about this, that they're making four Beatle movies. One each movie focusing on each Beatle. And get this, all four movies are coming out in theaters on the same day.
Oh my God, what
So
kind of a strategy is that? I can't imagine it.
I,
You
I
can't
think,
see four things at once. This
yeah,
is crazy.
I know. I feel like they're gonna try to intertwine them, but it's definitely a very big experimental thing as far as a movie going experience. I don't know how well it'll work out, but it intrigued me. I'm not gonna lie.
I really love the Get Back thing that came out on Disney like a couple years ago.
Oh yes, I
That
didn't get I
that
you
was really
watched it?
good. Yeah, I did. I watched it and it was excellent. Speaking of Disney, I have a song that I recorded for a friend of mine's a producer in Los Angeles, and he sent me an email. He needed a guitar part that night. He and his partner have a recording studio in their house. They've had Shania Twain record there. They do all the Disney sing-alongs
Oh,
on
okay.
ABC. Anyway, he says they needed this thing tonight. Can you do it? And I said, yeah, of course. And he goes, the scene is a wedding band playing a Tom Petty song, Louisiana Rain.
Hmm.
He says, you can't make it sound overproduced. It's got to sound like a live guitar track. I'm going, that's a piece of cake, you know.
Yeah.
So it's Louisiana Rain. I'm on this track, and it's from the National Treasure. It's the Nicolas Cage movie, but they made a TV series out of it. It's on Disney Plus, I believe.
Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. So that was one track that I did, and that I'm available for all those other tracks if everybody. this
Yes, yes.
this is something I enjoy doing.
It's something you enjoy doing, but you have the credits. You have
Hmm.
the credits. You like I or not the resume more or less. in a sense. You really, it seems like you're doing it all, done it all, and still doing it all. Right now.
I'm still trying to figure out new ways to do it. That's what it is too. So this has been really nice, and
Absolutely, Sonny. I really appreciate this. First off, it was great to speak with you again. If anything comes up as far as music wise and I want any advice, I know who I'm going to, obviously. And even for another Zoom podcast like this, I had a great time with this. As far as another music topic, I'd love to have you on again as you if you are. So I think this was incredible. Thanks again, man.
okay, lots of stories here. All right,
Lots of stories here.
good talking to
Very
you.
good. All right, guys, listen, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and also follow us on all social media platforms at Loggin On. You could follow Sonny on in the description below, and you can also check out the Kill Shed in the description below as well for all their performances that they have going on there. But until next time, peace out.
So, because for What Is Love, I think the meme in itself is the clip from the skit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to songs like Photograph, where it's like the meme is
Is the song.
it's a template for
Yes.
a meme.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like
know
you
what I
can
mean?
use that for anything, even
Exactly.
the graph. It even just said
Look at this
whatever
photograph.
you put
Look
on.
at this. Yeah,
It's a
look at this.
photograph
Even the
of a
sounds of
photograph.
silence. Whenever
Yeah.
anyone said with anything, it's just that.
Yeah.
So Nickelback is definitely on there.
Yeah.
100%.
We need a fifth one, and then what we could do is put them in the order we want them on. So we got Never Gonna Give You Up with Rick Astley, Weezer, Creed, and Nickelback. We need a fifth one on there.
I think Weezer's going to be 5.
I would agree with that, and I would accept that too.
Only because it's funny, but it's not that funny.
I'm gonna eliminate some from my list. I think Harlem Shake is out.
Yeah, it's not relevant.